The ballroom shimmered with gold and glass, a palace of flashing lights where every smile felt rehearsed and every movement seemed rehearsed twice. On a night meant to celebrate cinema and stars, the grand hall of the Blue Dragon Film Awards glittered like a crown placed gently upon the city. Cameras moved like restless eyes across the audience, capturing applause, laughter, and the dazzling charm of Korea's brightest talents. But among the elegance of gowns and tuxedos, among the applause that rose and fell like waves against a quiet shore, there was something else in the air that night. Something subtle, something almost invisible. It was the quiet tension between two familiar figures seated not too far apart. To the world, they were simply two accomplished actors attending the same ceremony. But to millions of fans, they were something more. They were the unforgettable pair whose chemistry once captured hearts across the globe in King the Land. On the left side of the hall sat Jun-ho, composed and charismatic, applauding politely as another award was announced. His posture was relaxed, his expression calm, yet his presence carried the same quiet confidence that had once made audiences fall in love with his character on screen. Across several rows, glowing beneath the soft stage lights, sat Yoon-ah. Graceful as ever, she smiled warmly as winners walked across the stage. Her elegance seemed effortless, the kind that had defined her career for years. From a distance, nothing about their presence seemed unusual. Two stars attending an award show. Nothing more. Yet fans watching the broadcast began to notice small moments, tiny details that felt strangely familiar. Moments that made friendship begin to look almost too real. The first moment happened quietly. As the camera briefly panned across the audience, it caught Jun-ho glancing toward the opposite side of the hall. Not toward the stage. Not toward the presenters. But toward someone else. For less than a second, his gaze lingered in that direction before returning to the ceremony. Most viewers would have missed it entirely. But fans who had followed every interview, every behind-the-scenes clip from King the Land noticed immediately. Because that same expression, calm yet slightly softened, had appeared many times before when he looked at the same person during the drama's press conferences. A few minutes later, something else happened. Another award was announced, and the audience burst into applause. As everyone stood briefly to congratulate the winner, the camera caught Yoon-ah turning slightly in her seat. Her gaze swept across the audience. And then, almost like the closing of a perfect circle, it stopped for a brief moment in the direction where Jun-ho sat. No dramatic reaction followed. Just a small smile. A polite nod. The kind of gesture two friends might share across a crowded room. Yet something about the timing felt strangely cinematic. Within minutes, fans watching the broadcast began posting screenshots online. Did you see that look? Pause at this moment. They're definitely looking at each other. Across social media platforms, the investigation had already begun. Fans replayed the footage repeatedly, zooming in on tiny expressions, analyzing angles, comparing gestures with past appearances. Because this was not the first time people had noticed moments like these. Ever since the release of King the Land, their interactions had sparked endless fascination. During interviews, they had often laughed together naturally. During promotional events, they had teased each other playfully. Their chemistry had felt so effortless that viewers sometimes forgot they were watching actors performing a scripted story. That authenticity was exactly what made their partnership so memorable. And exactly what made moments like this one feel suspiciously real. Back inside the award hall, the ceremony continued. Speeches were delivered. Awards were presented. Music played softly between segments. Yet somewhere beneath the glamorous surface of the event, those subtle glances continued appearing like hidden chapters in a story no one could fully read. At one point during the evening, the host made a joke that sent waves of laughter through the audience. As people reacted, the camera once again scanned across the room. And for the briefest instant, it captured something unexpected. Jun-ho laughing, and looking toward the same direction where Yoon-ah sat. At that exact moment, she was laughing too. Not at him. Not with him. Yet somehow the timing looked almost perfectly synchronized. Two separate reactions, yet strangely aligned. Fans immediately noticed. Why are they laughing at the same time? This is too much of a coincidence. Friendship or something more? The internet thrives on mysteries like these. And when two beloved stars share a history as iconic as theirs, even the smallest coincidence can ignite endless speculation. As the night progressed, the subtle moments continued. A glance here, a smile there. Nothing dramatic, nothing definitive. Just enough to make fans wonder. Just enough to keep the story alive. Because the truth about Lee Jun-ho and Yoon-ah has always existed somewhere between two possibilities. They could simply be colleagues who became good friends while filming a beloved drama. Or perhaps their connection carried a depth that only they truly understood. Neither actor had ever confirmed romantic rumors. Both had handled the public's curiosity with professionalism and grace. Yet the fascination never faded. And nights like this, filled with small, unscripted moments, only added new chapters to the mystery. When the ceremony finally ended, applause echoed through the hall as the final award was announced. Guests slowly began leaving their seats, greeting each other before exiting the venue. From a distance, the two stars once again appeared like any other attendees preparing to leave. But fans watching closely noticed one final moment. As Yoon-ah stood to walk toward the exit, she briefly turned in the direction of the audience behind her. At that exact moment, Lee Jun-ho happened to be standing as well. Their eyes met. Just for a second. No dramatic reaction followed. No wave. No conversation. Just a brief acknowledgement before they both turned and walked in separate directions. Yet that single second quickly became the most discussed moment of the night. By the following morning, clips of the encounter had spread across the internet like wildfire. Fans debated its meaning. Was it simply two friends acknowledging each other across a crowded room? Or was it something deeper, something that continued quietly beyond the cameras and interviews? Perhaps the truth is simpler than people imagine. Perhaps they are simply friends whose natural comfort with each other makes every interaction look special. Or perhaps some connections simply cannot be explained so easily. Because sometimes friendship does not look ordinary. Sometimes it looks effortless. Sometimes it looks warm. And sometimes, just sometimes, it looks so real that the world begins to wonder if it might be something more. And that is why, even years after King the Land ended, the story of Lee Jun-ho and Yoon-ah continues to capture attention around the world. Not because of confirmed romance. Not because of dramatic revelations. But because of moments like these, quiet, fleeting, and beautifully mysterious.